that was a day or so later, I decided I really wanted to go and get our belongings back out of our house out in Quezon Beach. I knew it wouldn't be safe to travel on the road. It was closed off. But I thought if I could just get a boat somewhere, if I could get a boat, then I could bring our stuff back. I wanted to save some of the stuff that was in the house. I didn't want to lose everything. Fortunately, it was a boy named Ariel. His last name was Lau. He was Dorothy Lau's brother. And he owned a small launch. He said I could borrow it. Paul Saliba, an American Peace Corps medical worker, he offered to go along with me. There were a couple of fellows who knew how to sail the boat. So we headed around Patikul, going to Quezon Beach, back to where our house was. When we got there, it was an eerie feeling, let me tell you. There inside the house was a cast iron skillet that Grandpa had hung on the wall, but now it had a very big bullet hole right through the middle of it. And as I was pulling the books off the shelf, I wanted to save as many of the books that we had in the house as possible. One of the books fell on the floor, and a bullet fell out of a bullet had gone from the fighting, had gone into that book. And the name of the book, it was incredible. It was called Tausug Armed Conflict by a man named Tom Kiefer. We heard that soldiers had indeed died there during the night. But we loaded what was important onto our little boat and went out to Ariel's launch. It was anchored offshore. It was getting late when Paul and I made it back to Taglibi, and we put our stuff down by the beach beside a row of poor Samal houses. However, what frightened us was a Navy gunboat. We saw this gunboat. It must have been about halfway between the Sama houses and our house. And I wondered what was the gunboat doing out there. So Paul and Taglibi and I, Paul, what was his name, Roy? Saliba. We went in to see the leader of the military and asked him for, isn't there some way that he could contact that Navy gunboat out there and tell them that we were not the enemy, please don't shoot us. And he said, well, I'm sorry, but I don't have any communication with them. There's no way that I can do anything. And they said, well, anyway, don't you know there's a curfew? We have no way to contact that ship. We were afraid that this gunboat was going to open fire on the small Sama houses. But I walked down to the beach and asked one of the Sama people if I might borrow his little boat. And he said yes, and so I got in it and paddled out towards the gunboat. I wanted to make sure they weren't going to shoot us. And about partway out towards the gunboat, I stood up and said, can I come closer? Can I come closer? And all of a sudden they shut off their lights, everything went dark. And I thought, boy, now they're going to open fire. I'm a dead duck. So I stood up in the boat, I started yelling, I'm an American, I'm an American. Can I come closer? Can I come closer? And someone shouted back and said, please do. So I paddled the Sama boat closer and I could see that the leader of the gunboat, he was looking out the front of the thing, and he talked to me, and I asked him would it be okay to, we were trying to rescue belongings from our house, and he said, yes, that would be okay, but not, it's late now, not tonight. He said it's too dangerous. And so Paul Saliba and I, we asked some of the Sama people, could we sleep in their house, and they said yes. So we went up into the little bamboo houses built on stilts out over the ocean. We slept in that. I don't remember if I slept very much, but we waited till morning. And then when it got morning, we went back down to Taglibi Beach, to where our house was, and we started pulling our things out of the house and putting them on Dorothy's brother, actually. It was her brother's boat that we had borrowed to get out there. And we started loading things onto her brother's boat, and we made it back to Holo on the Laos boat. But it was quite an exciting time to be under the guns virtually, and yet still the Lord brought us through safely.
You remembered what you said, when you don't know what to do.
Yes, when you don't know what to do what's right. And that's the important part of the story, really.
So,
We wanted to protect the other people, the Sama people, from
weren't
danger.
you afraid to get in that boat and go out to the gunboat?
Well, there was one way or another. Somebody had to do it, and there was no one else.
Nobody else was volunteering. Huh?
No one else was volunteering, no. Yeah. The Lord was good.
So how did you come to make that decision to go out there
To see the boat myself. Well, the leader of the military was not going to. He said he couldn't, and he wasn't about to send his men out there. So there's no one else to do it. And I didn't want them to start shooting and killing the Sama people, and I certainly didn't want them any more shooting at our house. It had pretty well shot up already. So I just decided that I would do it. God is with me.
That's you.
Do what's right. God will keep the bullets from hitting you. When the Imam and I were riding the motorcycle from the house back to the mayor's house, those bullets were zipping all around us, but none of them were hitting us because God was with us.
Amen.
And His presence is there. That means safety.